Good morning, students. Today we are going to start another chapter in English language, which is chapter 17 of your book, Finite and Non-Finite Verbs. Now, finite and non-finite verbs, basically this chapter will actually talk about non-finite verbs, but finite verbs will be explained first, then the non-finite will come. So there are mainly two types of verbs in English, finite and non-finite. So finite verbs, what are the finite verbs? So finite verbs change their forms when there is a change in the number or person of the subject, and finite verbs also have different forms in different tenses. Example, Sarah, Kumar play the synthesizer. So they change their form when there is a change in number or person of the subject, and non-finite verbs do not change their form when the number or person of the subject changes. They do not indicate tense and function as nouns and adjectives. So this is what the non-finite verb does. So they do not indicate tense and they function as nouns and adjectives. Example is plucking flowers should be discouraged. So when we are discussing this non-finite verb which do not change their form, so there are types of non-finite verbs, and most of us get these types of non-finite verb mistakes. So there are mainly three types of non-finite verbs: that infinitives, the gerunds, and the participles. So the non-finite verb, the infinitive, the form of non-finite verb infinitive is 2 plus verb form. So examples is I forgot to clean the stove this morning. To clean, 2 plus verb, clean is verb, to, this is infinitive. The participle is means verb plus ing form of the verb, or verb plus ed form, en form, d form of verb is participle. The lady left the room with crying child. The injured animal. Okay, ed, verb plus ed, crying, cry plus ing form of the verb. So that is participle, crying. Injured animal was taken to the vet. Verb plus ing is gerund. Now verb plus ing is also in the participle and also in the gerund. So what is difference? So we will start the difference also. We'll learn the difference also. Like I like camping in the woods. Verb plus ing, camp plus ing is camping. It is an activity. So it is functioning as let's start with the infinitive. So the infinitive is a base form of a verb. It is usually preceded by to. They often function as nouns in the sentences, acting as the subject of the object. So like she remembered to greet me on his birthday. So that is an infinitive, to greet. So verb is preceded by to. But apart, if the to is not there, there is not infinitive. So an infinitive without the preceding to is called a bare infinitive. So there are infinitives which are called bare infinitive, which is the exception in this chapter. So these are the exceptions, like I made her consult a doctor about her headaches. So uses of bare infinitive. Why bare infinitives are used? So bare infinitive is used in the following ways, like as the main verb after modal auxiliaries, we use bare infinitive. Example, I can walk 10 miles at a stretch. This is bare infinitive. With verbs such as let, need, make and bid. Example, you need not call me again. So this is a bare infinitive. With verbs like hear, see, watch, know and feel. Example, I heard him say that he will be here soon. So this is a bare infinitive. With phrases had, but, better, would rather, would sooner, than, rather than. So there the bare infinitives are used. You had better book the tickets now. Okay. With than and but they mean except. So they did nothing but complain. So in these cases the bare infinitive used. The bare infinitive is actually an exception. The main infinitive is to plus verb. So the participle comes Now the participles are the words that are used as adjectives. They qualify the nouns that follow them. So they are used as adjectives. So participles are of three types. Again, the classification comes: present participle, past participle, and perfect participle. Three types are there: present, past, and perfect. So the definitions, like, what is a present participle? The present participles are formed by adding ing to the base form of the verb. They denote incomplete actions or state of being, like I watched a sleeping baby in its mother lap. So this is present participle. What we are looking like gerund. It was looking like gerund ing. So this is present participle actually. So the past participle. Now comes the past participle. So the past participle are formed by adding ed, en, d, t or n to the base form of the verb. So they denote actions that have been completed in the past but whose effect are still present. So the actions have completed in the past that the effect are still present. These are past participle, and these are formed by adding ed to the base form of the verb. Like the broken, broke plus en. Broken cell phone needs to be repaired. So this is a past participle example. Okay. So the perfect participle. So the participles, yes, perfect participle. So the participles with the form having plus past participle form of the verb are called perfect participles. So having plus past participle form of the verb means ed type of verb. They denote actions that are completed in the past, like having made up my mind to leave the place, I took job in another city. So this is perfect participle because they denote that the actions have completed in the past. So having made up the mind to leave the place, I took up job in another city. Okay, so this is another example of perfect participle. Now the gerund, most important thing and the most mistaken thing. So gerunds are words that look like verb or function like nouns. So gerund is functioning like a noun. They function as a subject or a sentence or the object or a verb or preposition, whereas present participle verb plus ing. So they are formed by adding ing to the base form of the verb. They denote incomplete actions or state of being. So the actions perhaps are incomplete. And here is it complete or not? Let's see. So it is more of like noun. Okay, so there is no completedness or incompletedness. So gerunds are words that look like verb but actually function like nouns. Like eating junk food is not good for health. Eating junk food, this word is denoting the form of the verb. Function is like a noun. So eating junk food is not good for health, though it is actually verb. So gerunds and infinitive both function as nouns and can replace each other in the sentences. So infinitive is also used preceded by to. So both functions like nouns. Infinitive and gerunds, gerunds and infinitive both function as noun and can replace each other in sentences. Examples are like to forgive someone is divine, this is infinitive, and forgiving someone is divine, gerund. So they both are nouns. To forgive is infinitive, forgiving is gerund. So verb plus ing is not only gerund but it can be present participle also. Keep this in mind because these participles are used as adjectives whereas gerunds are used functioning like nouns, which are verbs actually. Whereas infinitive is base form of a verb preceded by to. So these three things are needed to understand while doing the types of non-finite verbs. The very famous thing, many books present themselves as separate chapters which can be presented, but in your class 7 I believe that finite and non-finite verbs in this form is easier for you to understand. The exercises that I gave basically are Identify the verbs in the sentence, circle the finite verbs and underline the non-finite verbs, which you will be doing on your own. After reading the finite and non-finite, underline the participles in the sentences and tell those types. So this will also we will be doing. And identify the gerunds and present participle in the sentences. You will be identifying. So basically the identification and underlining type of very easy sorts of exercise I have given in the lesson. Okay, those other exercises are there in your textbook only, which you can solve by your own. But for now, if you practice this chart, if you remember the definitions, then it will be easier for you, and your job is to solve all these exercises by your own and write the notes in your English language copy. Okay students, okay, thank you. This is all I needed to discuss about finite and non-finite verbs. Hope you enjoyed the class. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.